In the heart of a forgotten town stood an ancient theater, its walls draped in shadows and mysteries. It was here that Julian, an ambitious director, decided to resurrect the final act, a play shrouded in rumors of a curse. The townsfolk whispered of its last performance, decades ago, where tragedy struck, leaving the lead actor missing, presumed consumed by the role, or something far more sinister. As rehearsals commenced, the cast, lured by Julian's promise of fame, dismissed the eerie tales as mere superstitions. The play, a Gothic tale of love transcending the veil between life and death, seemed harmless on paper. Yet, as they delved deeper into their characters, a chilling atmosphere enveloped the troupe. Lights flickered, scripts were found torn, and whispers echoed in the empty auditorium. One by one, actors began to vanish. At first, Julian attributed these disappearances to cold feet or misfortune. But when the lead actress, Eliza, disappeared the night after a haunting performance, panic ensued. The remaining cast members pointed fingers, suspecting a saboteur among them, yet Julian was convinced it was the curse manifesting the play's tragic narrative into their reality. Determined to confront the curse, Julian scoured the archives for any clue that might break it. He discovered notes from the original playwright, revealing the true ending, a sacrificial ritual intended to appease spirits unsettled by the play's invocation. Horrified, Julian realized the play was never meant to be finished. The final act was a conduit, blurring the lines between the ethereal and the living. The night of the final rehearsal, with the cast depleted and fear palpable, Julian altered the ending, hoping to pacify the spirits. But as they performed the revised final act, the theater itself seemed to come alive, with specters of the missing actors appearing on stage, their eyes hollow, their voices echoing the original lines of the doomed finale. In a terrifying climax, the boundary between the play and reality shattered. The theater, now a realm of limbo, trapped everyone within its walls. Julian, in a desperate bid for redemption, offered himself to the curse, disappearing in a blinding light, leaving the stage empty. The next morning, the town awoke to find the theater sealed, as if it had never been opened. Rumors spread of the cursed play's final performance, where reality succumbed to the fiction on stage. The missing actors were never found, and the final act remained an unfinished symphony of horror, its manuscript locked away, never to be performed again. In a chilling twist, those who dared to peer into the theater's windows at night claimed to see shadows moving across the stage, performing a play with no audience, forever caught in a loop between the living and the spectral, a haunting reminder of the curse that blurred the lines of reality. In the heart of an ancient, forgotten forest, a group of hikers ventured, lured by tales of untouched wilderness and unparalleled beauty. The forest, known as the Hungry Woods by the few locals aware of its existence, was rumored to be alive, a notion the hikers found amusing and quaint, a perfect backdrop for their adventure. As they delved deeper, the forest's beauty was undeniable, but a subtle unease began to weave its way through the group. Trees, gnarled and ancient, seemed to shift position when not directly observed, always a step beyond rational explanation, casting ever-changing shadows that danced mockingly around their campfire. It was on the third night, under a moon obscured by thick, roiling clouds, that the eerie silence of the woods was broken by a sound they couldn't place. A rustling, not of leaves, but something far larger, moved with purpose just beyond the veil of darkness that surrounded their camp. The next morning, with the sun struggling to pierce the dense canopy, they discovered their paths home had vanished, replaced by an impenetrable wall of vegetation. Panic set in as they realized the forest was reshaping itself, herding them like cattle. They moved as one, driven by a primal fear, but the forest seemed to anticipate their every move. Paths that promised escape twisted back on themselves, leading deeper into the heart of the Hungry Woods. The sound of their unseen stalker grew ever closer, a constant reminder that they were not alone. As night fell, desperation took hold. Fire no longer offered comfort, for the trees loomed close, their branches cracking like dry bones, whispering secrets in a language of fear. Then, as suddenly as it began, the forest fell silent. The group, now huddled together, watched in horror as a figure emerged from the shadows. Not a beast of flesh and blood, but a man, his eyes hollow, his body emaciated and twisted by years lost in the hungry woods. He spoke of a hunger that could never be sated, a curse that bound him to the forest. With each word, the trees shivered in anticipation, leaves rustling with a hunger of their own. The man revealed the truth: the forest fed on fear, and they were its latest prey. The realization hit them like a cold wave. There was no escape. The forest, through this wretched soul, offered them a grim choice: join its legion of lost wanderers or feed the ground upon which it grew. In the end, the hikers were never found, their fate a whispered warning in the wind that swept through the hungry woods. And sometimes, in the dead of night, it said you can hear the sound of something large and unseen moving just beyond the tree line, stalking its next prey.